What's up, everybody? Welcome to Go Live with Glow. Tonight's episode, we have the amazing King Noire. You guys are so funny. Do you know how many people have been DMing me about this man? There's so many questions that people want to know. People are joining in here on time today. Y'all are fake. Y'all know that? Y'all only here for that man tonight, and that's fine. I understand. Y'all are fake. No, that is crazy. So I'm waiting for him to show up. Tonight we're doing it a little bit earlier. Again, every Thursday at 8 o'clock is when I do the show. Normally I only move the time up for verses. Like if we have a verses, then I'll move the show up an hour because the verses, I be wanting to catch them too and want to be in the mix of it. So I don't really want anything to mess that up. So tonight, my special guest is joining us at 7. We had to move out. I have no problem moving it up for him. He's a very busy man. Very, very busy man. He's already here. Hold on a second. Let me go ahead and add him in. Are you?
Peace. How you doing? Say that again. It's hard to hear.
Because the connection is really bad. It is? Let me see.
All right, I can hear you now.
This whole little generic little questions that I was going to ask you, I have wrote them down to a list, and I don't really think that's going to fly tonight because after I posted you, my DM went crazy.
Oh, yeah.
Crazy. So I'm gonna ask you some generic questions, and I'm gonna ask you some good ones too. So what's the meaning behind the name King Noire? And what do people normally call? Do they call you King or not?
Yeah, people normally call me King. First and foremost, good evening. Thank you so much for having me on tonight. It's nighttime, so I got the red light spell. I'm able to answer any kind of questions they got, no matter how freaky, no matter how crazy. I'm open to all of it. I got the name King Noire because I started a company called Sensual Noire, and Noire, of course, means black. The E on the end of it is the feminine because I created my company to cater to black and brown women as a way for sensual entertainment. So I was already called King from dancing at parties, kind of like on some round the way shit. We'd be like, peace, King, peace, God, all that. So then people started being like, yo, that's King of Sensual Noire. And then they dropped the whole title and just was like, that's King Noire. So I figured, I'm going to keep it that way because who better to treat you like a queen than a king,
Oh, I like that. That's cool. If anybody have any questions that they want to know, please hit the question button at the bottom. So how did you get into the business? And please explain to those who don't know you already what business that you're in and how did you get into it?
I am an adult entertainer, porn performer, the Sultan Stroke, you know what I'm saying? Renaissance fornicator. I am the co-owner of Royal Fetish Films. I direct, I produce, I star in films with my partner, Jet Sesman. We started Royal Fetish Films as a way to show black sexuality, sensuality, kinky activity, fetishes, and way that honors our beauty and culture. So, I got my start initially in the business. I had a homegirl who was a dancer, and they asked her to be in some pictures. And, I know you looking for work. I know you an exhibitionist, and I know and I don't want no randos with me. So would you do this shoot with me? And that was my first adult, work right there. My first journey into sex work. I was 18 years old. And from there, I started doing private Bdsm sessions, private cuckolding sessions, live sex shows, dancing at go-go bars, stripping. I pretty much have done every form of sex work you can imagine.
Right, that's what it is, BDSM, right? Explain what that is, because so somebody DM'd me and said they had booked a session. They had booked a session with you.
Yeah. Well, I hope they enjoyed themselves.
Yeah, they didn't go all the way through. They didn't go all
Oh,
the way
they
through.
changed their mind.
They
Okay.
changed their mind at the last minute.
Well,
And it's you and
BD,
your partner, Jasmine, correct?
say that one more time.
Jasmine, correct?
Yes, Just Setting Jasmine is my partner. BDSM stands for bondage, um, domination, submission, or sadism and masochism. It is just a way, a dynamic of a relationship. It can be a way that you engage both sexually or just in your everyday life.
So that, like, what, like, you gotta have
I
a,
think
because you're dom, correct? You're dominant, right?
correct. For me, I got into it just naturally. It was already something that I was a part in my own sex life before I knew there was names for it, before I knew that there was like a whole community around it. I was already into it. You know, I enjoyed I enjoy impact play like spanking and paddles and things like that. So, you know, getting into it professionally was just a very natural step for me.
Subspace during sub sessions, and how do you deal with it? And care.
I didn't catch the beginning. I didn't catch the beginning. You was in and out. I can't. I don't know. Maybe it's the headphones or something.
Even hear me. Let me take these out. How about now? Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Okay, so let me go ahead and get that question again. They said, do subs go into subspace during the sub sessions, and how do you deal with it? And is there like aftercare?
Yeah, I mean, I think aftercare is just as important in your session as any other part of the session. You know, you start off a session, automatically you need to go over safety. You need to make sure you establish your safety words and your safety precautions, depending on what activity you're going to be getting into. You know, then you got like, you know, the meaty aspect of your session, you know, the things that you do and all of that. But at the end is your aftercare. And without aftercare, I do not consider it a complete session, because you have to check in on somebody. You have to make sure that, you know, they're okay, that, you know, they got out of it what they needed to get out of it. And if they didn't, then you're going to have that conversation about maybe what was a mental block or what didn't connect. And working through those things is what's going to make your session be complete. So, you know, also sometimes you're experiencing heavy impact, or you were tied up in uncomfortable situations or something like that, and your body needs care. You know, some people need a big hug or a warm blanket, or, you know, some chocolate, some water, you know, things to get those electrolytes going. Some people need words. They need to have a conversation, or they need to be reassured that what they experienced was a good thing, and that they did well. Or some people want that critique, you know, what can I do better? So, you know, subspace is a place that people go because you're having this incredibly intense experience. So, you know, you got all these chemicals moving around in your brain, and, you know, sometimes we just experience something. The way I can say it too is kind of like, you know, if you're an athlete or an artist and you get into the zone, you know, that zone where all the things that you create are just flowing out of you perfectly. Or,
Right.
you know, you can't miss that jump shot, whatever it is. And everything that you are a part of, you are one with that thing. You know, that's what subspace is. And I like to tell people that's what dom space is also. When you're just like truly in a zone, you're in the moment, you're not thinking about X, Y, and Z, or even ABC. You're right there in that time, right there in that moment, and truly experiencing yourself in that moment as well.
Wow, that sounds like that was very detailed. I mean, like, I think people have like a misconception about, what are some of the misconceptions about BDSM?
I think some of the misconceptions about BDSM is that, you know, it's all about pain, or people want to hurt people in a violent type of way. Like, number one, first and foremost, it only happens when two people consent. If there is not consent, then it is not BDSM. It's assault. You know what I'm saying? And not all BDSM even has to have impact play. You know, you can have mental restraints. You can have psychological restraints. You don't even have to have things on your physical body. We can experience a BDSM session completely socially distanced. You know what I'm saying? There's so many different ways to experience it. You know, it really is about your mental faculty and capacity, not just about the physicality all the time. You know, it's another common misconception, especially amongst our people, is that, you know, it's not black to be involved in BDSM. It's not some black people shit. Like, oh, that's some white people shit. And that's completely wrong, because our people have been on this planet for millions of years. You think nobody ever spanked nobody on the ass before? You know what I'm saying? Don't limit the sexual expression of our people, of our ancestors, of our culture. Because chances are, if anything is being done on the planet, we did that shit already. We did that shit first, most likely. You know, we've been able to travel around, you know, the continent and have seen BDSM things that date way, way back before European civilization. So, you know, we had sex toys, we had, you know, carvings made out to our gods that were specifically, excuse me, my brain is all over the place. That were specifically, like, I don't want to stop you. You know, gods that were dedicated to fertility, or gods that were dedicated to pleasure, or God, you know. So I think that a lot of times we limit ourselves and we limit our scope because we're still viewing ourselves through the lens of our oppressor. So we limit ourselves to how our oppressor told us we could be. So I think that sometimes that's the big misconception, where people are like, nah, that's not for us. Nah, everything is for us. There's nothing on this planet that ain't for us.
Right. So I wanted to skip around because you mentioned toy. So you do have a mold of yourself. How does it feel to have your own dildo?
Oh, it's amazing. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of like one of those things I dreamt of when I first got into sex work, because I was like, damn, I can't fuck everybody, but somehow everybody can fuck me now. You know what I'm saying? Because I would love to be able to deliver dick to everybody.
Right.
But so now, you know, they get to enjoy a mold of me if they can't get to me personally, you know?
Right. Hold on a second. Do you fetish train?
I do. I train people both how to become doms, or how to explore their fetishes with their partners, or to you know, find themselves in submission. I help people in every aspect possible.
My mother is in here. She is in this room, and she is laughing so loud. If y'all hear somebody laughing in the background, it is her. She is laughing in the back. Something is wrong with her.
What's good, mama?
Do you train submissives?
I do.
I'm gonna have to hit you on the side, y'all. I ain't gonna be able to talk on this thing right here. I want to know more about this. So let me just ask you one of these other questions I have on here. How's working in the adult entertainment made you more aware of your sexual health, like just overall sexual health?
Absolutely. I think working in porn, we have to get tested so often. You know, in the everyday, most people do not get tested as much as they should, let alone anywhere close. Like, if I'm shooting in a month, chances are I've been tested 3 times in the month. Mm-hmm. You know, I have to get tested before every shoot. So 3-4 times a month, where most people don't get tested more than once a year. So that it's kept me up. And then also, you know, my body is my instrument. My body is my tool. So I want to make sure that it plays well, you know, and I want to make sure that I'm healthy. I want to make sure that, for example, you know, I'm coming on people in people's mouths and stuff like that for work, you know, so I want to make sure I taste good.
Ooh. So
You
you
know what I'm
must have a
saying?
real
I
clean
mean,
diet.
I do scenes where I have to taste myself, so I want to make sure I taste good too. Shit.
So you have a real clean diet, don't you?
I like to believe so. I have my cheat meals every now and again, but for the most part, I eat as clean as possible.
Somebody said sexually liberated people are very healthy and conscious of like getting tested regularly. So with COVID and everything now, y'all might have to get tested for all kinds of things, right? Yeah, get COVID tests, you gotta get all kinds of tests.
Yeah, absolutely. Shooting has definitely changed, honestly, since this time last year, because it is marking about a year since the lockdown started for COVID. I have only gone out to shoot with people outside of my partner Jasmine twice. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
So I'm very selective. We've set up pods where it's like everybody has to get fully tested for everything, and it's kind of like we shoot, nobody in, nobody out.
So do you get aroused on set during your job? Is it any pleasure at all? Are you aroused?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I love to please first and foremost. Like I'm definitely a pleaser. So I want my co-stars to enjoy themselves. I want them to feel good. That's both in the sense of physically, but also, mentally. I want to make sure that they're comfortable, that they know that they're safe, and that their needs or their desires are going to be met. So, that aspect is definitely a turn on. And then also the aspect of I love to be watched. I'm an exhibitionist. So knowing that there's people in the room filming it, or the people at home or wherever they choose to watch, you know what I'm saying, are also going to be turned on when they get to see me work.
Ooh. So have you ever dated somebody that wasn't in the adult industry?
I have.
How was that though? Was that hard for them to deal with?
In the past, I definitely have dated folk that were not in the industry, and some of them were definitely not okay with it. But as I've gotten older and more mature, I don't date people who can't accept me for who I am, and that's not even just in the aspect of porn, but no matter what it is, if you can't love me for who I am, then I'm not trying to change for nobody, and nor would I expect somebody to change for me. So it's kind of like I can only be with people who are fully open and respect my openness as well.
And so with your partner, is your partner a sub, or is your partner a dom?
Jasmine is also a dom, but she'll switch from time to time.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you. So how does that work? Like you guys have to have, like, who's in control, who's not in control?
It's I'm not I'm not one of those doms that feels I have to dominate everybody. You know what I'm saying? Like people who feel they have to dominate all people at all times, they're not even doms in my perspective. They're just assholes. You know what I'm saying? Like
Right.
it's not, if people aren't consenting to be dominated, I'm not interested in dominating them. You know what I mean? Like my personality is pretty, I'm chill. You know what I'm saying? Like I enjoy dominating people in the situations where they're presenting themselves to me as a submissive. Like I like people to come to me and present themselves like unmolded clay. You know what I'm saying? I could shape you up with the right training, but
Right.
if you're not presenting yourself to me as such, I'm not interested in you. And as for Jasmine, like we're partners. So we working on the same level and pushing on the same level for things. We co-dom some people. We have our own subs that we work with on the side, or our own relationships on the side as well too.
That I'm being schooled in here right now, because I feel very vanilla. You know what I mean? You feel like at a certain age you should know everything, but I feel like I'm very vanilla in this space right now. Like there's so much like uncharted territory. I think like again, this stigma and shame. What you were talking about earlier, like about BDSM, like how people feel like it's a white thing. I just think that there's a lot of shame within the Black community's sexuality in general. So we still have like so many things to overcome in order for us to be able to experience, so many different things, especially sexually. Tell me about your music career, because you also do music as well. So
Yeah.
like, what's the inspiration? Have you always been into music, or just
Yeah.
like?
I've been into music since I was a kid. I used to play alto saxophone, and then I
Oh, you
got
play,
into
play.
what's up?
I said, oh, you play, play. You a musician. You
Yeah,
play an
yeah.
instrument.
Then I started DJing parties in Jersey around like 13 years old. I DJed my first party. Been writing rhymes since, like yay high.
Mm-hmm.
Released my first album on Day by Day, which was distributed by Universal. Then I wound up getting signed to Viper Records not too long ago. Released an album with them under my name, which is Hassan Salam, and then also now I've started releasing music under the name King Noir as well. So I love music. I love hip hop. I also have been doing lectures on called From the Spirituals to Hip Hop, which is breaking down Black music and its socio-political importance in our liberation, and our strive for freedom, justice, and equality, like showing how, Black music has always been a tool that we've
Right.
used for our freedom, whether it be from the spirituals that we sang on the plantation all the way to hip hop used as protest music during the Black Lives Matter movement. And, just like speaking out, and how our artists throughout the years have always been willing to, speak out despite the oppression that we face.
Well, you are doing the work in so many different areas. You are
Thank
like
you.
breaking down barriers, removing the stigma behind so many things in the sexual world, educating people on music. I'm behind. This is trash. I might as well just throw this card behind.
Thank you.
This is trash. Like I was
Nah,
prepared.
you good.
Somebody
You
was
good.
like, no. They're like, no, we're not asking the right question. I said, well, damn. But all right, so let me ask you this, because I had a sex therapist come on, not sex therapist Jen. Shout out to her. Jen is the plug.
What up, Jay?
Jen is the plug. Jen the plug. I'm gonna just put her name, Jen the plug, in my phone because she definitely like connected me to you. She said, you should definitely interview him. She said, I actually went on set and helped direct one of his porns. And she was telling me about it this summer when I actually met up with her, and I didn't know it was you that she was going ahead and helping film. So I had another sex therapist come on, and she was just saying like about porn giving you a very unrealistic view of sex. So my question to you is, what do you say to people who say like, it's giving men a very unrealistic view of sex? Like, what do you say about that?
I think there's two sides to it. I think number one, when it comes to porn, people have to remember that you're watching a film.
Okay.
When you watch, I don't know, Denzel Washington in an action movie, you don't think that you're going to walk away from an explosion the same way that they do in the movies. There's certain movie magic that people are going to use, or there's certain lines that they're going to have written, you know what I'm saying? So, porn, like a lot of other things, there is some porn that is very scripted, and there is also porn that is natural, like two people just doing a thing, so it's important to be able to differentiate the two. Also, the people who you see as performers is, just as we spoke about in regards to how we keep our bodies. Mm-hmm. If your body is your moneymaker, is your tool, is your instrument, you're going to work to be really good at that. Like there's some people who can take like 3 dicks in their asshole. I'm telling you, those people have practiced that shit. They didn't just one day be like, let's try it right here, right now, without knowing how to properly prep for an anal scene or putting in a butt plug or, working up levels to get to that place, right? So you have to recognize that people do this and they train to do this the same way you would with an athlete. I look at people in porn as sexual athletes. There are certain things that people know how to do or practice doing to get really, really good at it, to build that fan base and to build a body of work that people are going to follow and that people respect, right? So if you just look at it like, hey, I'm going to try to do this thing that I saw this person do. It's like, I'm not going to get on a basketball court and shoot like Steph Curry. Like Steph Curry been practicing that shit for fucking 10, 20 years to be that nice. You know what I'm saying? And there are people in porn who have been practicing to be this nice. So, I think in that aspect, people get an unrealistic thing where it's just like, porn is like one of those few jobs where people look at it and be like, anybody could do that.
That's true.
But I can never do that. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It's like this weird double standard that people have with porn. And it's like, no, not everybody can do that. You know, not everybody can come on demand. Not everybody can deep throat whatever's in front of them. You know what I'm saying? Like there's
Right.
a lot of different talents that people have. And some people are also, we're all born with different gifts, whether it be physically or mentally or emotionally. We all have different gifts. And some people are like, yo, I was blessed with this, so I'm gonna put this out there and get paid off it, you know? And that's one thing. But then also I think it's important to know that there are companies that do put out realistic porn. And I think that the aspects that are very often overlooked is like, sex doesn't always have to have this, like, a lot of studios have the same shit every single time people have sex. This follows a formula, and sex doesn't have to follow a formula. Sex doesn't have to always look the same. It doesn't always have to be the same. And it also doesn't always have to be completely focused around male pleasure. And I think that that's the one place where a lot of men get the wrong idea. It's important to know that there are a lot of porn studios out there, whereas they might have sex with women, but they don't love women. They don't respect women. They don't honor women. They down to put women in movies because they want to make money off of women. And I think that that's not even just porn. That's kind of like America in general is willing to exploit women in every possible way, but deny women voting rights back in the day, or right now fighting over what rights women have to their own bodies.
Pretty much.
You know, so I think porn is a microcosm in that way, but also very specific because it is the sex industry. So I definitely tell people, follow your favorite porn stars directly and look at the content that they put out that they enjoy. You know what I'm saying? And look for companies that are owned by women or have women directors, or you know that women have their say in those shoots and in those companies. Yes. Because male pleasure is not what sex is about. Sex is about everybody involved enjoying themselves and meeting their desires, finding their pleasure, exploring their bodies, and connecting in different ways with each other, you know? So I definitely think it's important for men who are getting these wrong ideas to also look to porn that is created by women as well.
That's one of the things that the sex therapist said. She said, look into porn directed by women. You'll get a different, from a woman's lens, you'll get a different. I have 3 questions I'm going to ask you because I don't want to hold you up too much.
Oh, no, I'm here.
Okay, so what's the other question? Have you ever experienced sex as a spiritual practice? I don't know what that means.
I think when you are open to all things spiritual, whatever that means to you, then you can experience in that way. And I feel that I do experience it in that way, because sex for me is a way to connect with others. It's also a way to connect with myself. You know, like a lot of times we limit our idea of spirituality in regards to sex as only when we have a partner there with us. But you're experiencing and connecting with yourself, like when you're experimenting and exploring pleasure with yourself. Pleasure is like, if we weren't meant to have pleasure, it wouldn't feel good. You know what I'm saying? It's one of those gifts that we've been given in our physical form, is to experience this pleasure. And when we are in tune with that pleasure cannot just be physical. It can also be mental. It can also be something that is soul stirring for us as well, and soul opening. You know, like if you're willing to accept pleasure into your life, then you're also not denying one of the gifts that we've been given on this physical plane. And I think that that's a great way to be able to connect with your spirit as well, because your spirit chose your body. Your spirit is housed in your body right now. So it's there for a reason, you know? And I think that, as with anything, you know, if all you did was stay inside and jerk off all day, you're also going to miss out on a lot of the other amazing things that this world has to offer us. But you're definitely missing out if you're denying yourself pleasure in all of its forms as well.
Mm. So I want to get into some other stuff. So what is your signature move? Do you have one?
My signature move?
Mm-hmm.
Nah, I don't think I have one.
No, really?
In a way, I hope I don't, because no two people that I'm with are the same. So it's like if I'm with you and I'm trying to do something with you that I did with somebody else, y'all not the same person. You might be like, right, what's that? I don't like that. But the last person that I was with, that was they shit. They was like, yes, please do that some more. You know, so I would say my signature would be trying to find what pleases the person that I'm with, and trying to make sure that I do that to the utmost.
And so how do you do that? Like, is that like how do you just look when you go on set? Like, just walk me through it, because like I see porn from this way, but you see porn from the opposite way. This your work. So from my perspective, you know, I remember seeing porn very, very young, and it kind of distorted what I thought sex would be like. So I guess like my first time having sex, I kind of was like, that's it. I just remember saying that was it. And then I think I went through like another phase of just having sex just for the idea of sex. And then now as I've gotten older, I realized that I need to be more mentally connected to my partner in order to be able to enjoy sex. So for a person that does it for work, like what is that mindset going in?
Well, I think the good thing is usually I know who I'm shooting with beforehand.
Okay.
So I can check out their work. I can check out, you know, what they're about through their social media, or if it's somebody that I already know, hit them up and be like, yo, what are you interested in exploring during this scene? If it's somebody that I'm meeting for the first time, and even when it's somebody that I know already, you know, when I get on set, I'm going to ask them, you know, what are your hard limits? You know, what are some things that you are completely like, yo, don't do that shit, you know, because I don't ever want to cross any lines with anybody that would make them feel uncomfortable. So that's number one. Number two is kind of like, well, what do you like? What are you into? What would you like to experience or explore? And if it's like a particular company that we're working for that's not my company, you know, chances are that company has an idea of what they want us to do. So they might be like, we need like 3 or 4 different positions, and y'all gonna be fucking on the kitchen counter and X, Y, and Z. Okay, you know, but also what I might talk to the director and be like, you know, what kind of space do we have to work with? You know, because I'm not the kind of person that's just like, yo, I'm just trying to,
right.
I'm not trying to hurt nobody. So if that's the case, you know, what do you like? You know, you into oral, you into spanking, like what kind of things warm you up? And then also we'll establish whatever kind of safety is needed. Like, hey, if you need to tap me, if I'm going too hard, or I'm going too deep, or we need a safety word if we're working with like whips or floggers or something like that might hurt you, you know, let me know your safety. And then I think from there, you're going to have a certain conversation. And through that conversation, you're going to connect with somebody either mentally or emotionally, or just in the sense of like, we both here to get this job done. So we're going to connect artistically as well. Like, how can we make this look beautiful? You know what I'm saying? Like, if you're supposed to be doing, like, let's say you're riding me reverse cowgirl or something, and we know where the camera is at, I'm be like, all right, you know, put your weight on me so that you can, you know, elongate yourself and look as good as you want to look for the camera, right?
You pay attention to details like that. That's important, so that I look my best in this shot.
Yeah, I mean, for me, since I'm also behind the camera directing, right, and doing photography or lighting or all this other shit too, I like to ask my co-stars, like, you know, how do you like to be lit? Where do you like the camera? What do your fans prefer to see? You know, so it's always different depending on whether it's my company or I'm shooting with another company. If I'm shooting with another company, you know, I'm there as talent. So I'm there to make sure that their vision is done. You know what I'm saying? If it's me shooting with somebody from my company, I want to make sure that we have a collective vision and that we meet that collective vision in a way that's going to be fruitful for both of us, both, physically, and also financially.
I mean, have you always been like this? Like, I mean, just in general, like, it's like over time. I mean, like, just like the manner in which you deal with your partner, the manner in which you talk about sex, like, it's very like comforting. I can't see someone saying I'm uncomfortable having sex with him at all. Like, just you like paying attention to detail, asking questions, making sure like the partner is okay. Like, I need to get my life together. Somebody else has another question. Hold on.
I think I've gotten better with it over time as
Right.
I've learned more and understood more, but definitely as far back as I can remember, like to me, nothing feels better than knowing that the person that you're fucking with or making love to or
Right.
creating with is also having a good time and feels pleased. Like if we leave and we're done with our shoot or our session, or if it's a personal thing and we're done fucking or whatever, and you don't feel good and you don't feel like I tended to your needs, then I'm not doing my job if it's a work thing, but also I'm not doing my job as a person that's sharing this space with you. You know what I'm saying? Like, I want you to feel good. And I hope that you want me to feel good too. Like, it should be a mutual thing at all times.
Somebody mentioned in the comments, they said, I bet all your co-stars are in love with you.
I'm sure that, like, when it comes to co-stars, if not, as long as they know that they are always respected by me, you know what I'm saying? Like, love is there. You know what I'm saying? I definitely am here to spread love and show love at all times. Like, I've worked with some really amazing people, and usually, like 9 times out of 10, we're like, yo, I can't wait to work with you again, in whatever capacity.
I can't blame them. I can't say that I blame anybody that would say that. Let me see. What else we got here? Okay. Oh, okay. We got some good ones. What makes the experience with you different when you're in love versus when you're performing? Like, what makes the experience different?
Well, I mean, I think if you're in love with somebody, you know them.
Right.
I'm not a I love you after I just met you type of person.
Okay.
So the people that I do love, or the people that I have loved throughout time, you know what I'm saying? We've built some kind of camaraderie. We've got knowledge of one another. We've had experience with one another. So, it's just a more all-encompassing kind of thing. Like, people who I've worked with, we might have just met each other that day. So
Right.
it's not going to be the same as like, we done spent years getting to know one another. But I do think my care for people is always going to be there. Like, that goes without saying. Like, I want to make sure that people are good and having a good time and respected and taken care of.
That's another question. How much does physical attraction play a part when you're performing?
It definitely plays a part. I can probably find something that I find attractive about all people. There's, especially for what I do, I think when I meet somebody, I'm like, oh my, I'm like I said, like if I know who I'm performing with, I'm gonna check them out. I'm gonna see what they about. I'm gonna see their work, and I'll probably always find something. I'm like, damn, the way she ride, or the way she talks shit, or her eyes, her lips, her ass, she be working out. Her arms be looking crazy when she be in this position. You know what I'm saying? Like, I always find something, and I think that everybody has something, whether it's physical, personality, anything, that every human being got something that just makes them unique and beautiful.
So what advice would you give to someone? So, I mean, like, advice to someone who may have a mental block, like, or just maybe have a low libido when it comes to sex right now. Like, what would you suggest to them?
Well, right now, I think it's okay. You know what I'm saying? Don't beat yourself up. We're in the midst of a global pandemic, yeah. throughout the world, over 1 million people have passed away. In the
Right.
United States, 500,000 people have passed away. Like, it's okay to not be like, yo, I'm trying to fuck right now. It's okay to be in your own space and be contemplative about what the next thing is going to be after this, what the world is going to look like. You know,
Right.
miss your family that you might not have seen. You know, don't beat yourself up about it. It's okay. And if you are somebody that's like, I want to get past this mental block, start with yourself. Find some things that turn you on about yourself. Find some time to explore in your own space. If you do have a partner that you're with, do some things that aren't putting the pressure on you to have sex. But, you know, spend some alone time with one another. Spend some time just talking. Speak on some of your fantasies that you might have had over this time. Share some of my porn with them and be like, yo, I want to do this shit that King did. You know what I'm saying? That's always a good thing. But definitely don't beat yourself up. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is a really tough time. And
Right.
it's okay. It's okay to be in that moment for sure.
So I always ask my guests to like leave a gem, but before you leave a gem, where can we, well, I know where I can, but where can anybody else find you at and find your work at?
Sure. Well, right here on Instagram, The Real King Noir, there's a whole bunch of fake accounts out there. So be careful. On Twitter, it's at King Noir. And then, of course, you can find me on royalfetishxxx.com and kingnoirxxx.com and onlyfans.com/King Noir, KINGNOIRE.
OnlyFans subscription. Y'all better subscribe to the OnlyFans.
I put out some wild shit recently too, so y'all definitely need to get up on
you
it.
definitely can't tell us now. Now we gotta go pay to go ahead and see it. Now we gotta go pay and see.
Oh yeah, I've been just like I will say for me during this time of the quarantine, I have been just exploring different ways of masturbation and self-pleasure.
Really?
Because I haven't been able to go shoot with a lot of other performers, right. But my fans are still like, yo, we want to see you do stuff. You know what I'm saying? Or I've been doing like live sessions with people who can't get to their partners or can't go out, you know, especially during the months where there was lots of lockdown. So I was doing like one-on-one Skype shows. So companies have been sending me toys and all kinds of stuff. So I've been
that is so creative.
Yeah,
I never even thought about that.
Trying some good like stroke toys and fake pussies, and then also I've been experimenting with vibrators on my taint and all kinds of shit. Woo! I got this new video where I go straight volcano. I was just coming so hard. What's up?
Let me ask you something, because I used to work at a sex toy store back when I was in college. So the fake pussy, it does not feel real. What does it feel like to you compared to a real one? What does it feel like? Because it feels like jelly to me.
Yeah, my hand feels like a hand. So it's just something different. It's something different to feel. It's a different sensation. Like some of the insides of them got like little beads. Some of them got like things that feel like this. I don't even know what the word is for that shit. But some of them have a tighter suction than others. Some, they're like sturdy on the outside, so you can go harder than others. It's really just like different sensations. Like if you're fucking anything and thinking it's going to feel just like a pussy and it's not a pussy, you're going to be very, very disappointed. And that could go for a mouth or an ass or a hole in the wall. You know what I'm saying? Like, enjoy it.
Not a hole in the wall. I just say a hole in the wall.
It's like enjoy it.
A hole in the wall.
Enjoy it for what it is, though. You know what I'm saying? It's like the same thing. When you use a vibrator on your clit, it's not going to feel like a tongue, but it is going to feel like an amazing vibration and stimulation on your clit. So just go with it, rock with it, feel that shit, enjoy it, you know.
Where can we buy your toy at?
You can actually DM me. I'm doing a special right now that's still kind of, I have a couple more of the specials that I was doing from Valentine's Day. So we have them in Merlot and vibranium colors, or you can go to lustarts.com and order them there.
Okay, all right. Because somebody said, where can they buy it at? So before you go, I asked everybody to leave a gem. So what gem can you leave with the audience?
I would definitely say be unapologetically you, whatever that is, and relating that to sexuality is just like, if you enjoy it and it pleases you and you're not hurting other people in a way that they're not okay with, you know what I'm saying? Like, as long as there's consent and involved, and you're leaving, you know, animals, children, and people who say no out of it, do that shit to the utmost. Enjoy yourself, feel good, and don't shame yourself, and don't feel bad for pleasing yourself. Enjoy that shit.
Somebody had one. No, we ain't answering no more questions. No, we'll leave that right there. Well, I want to thank you for coming on. Like, I definitely
Thank
do
you for
appreciate
having me.
that. I feel very educated. I feel very educated, very stimulated, but very educated. But yeah, so I feel very, very educated. I want to thank you for coming on. And I know you're busy man, busy hustling man. Again, guys, check him out. Click on his OnlyFans. You have a fan in here that's going off. She asks all the questions. She basically asks all the questions. Those are all her questions that she asked. So I
Thank
want
you,
to say
love.
thank you for everybody that tuned in. See you guys next Thursday. Thank you so much, King Noir. I do appreciate it. Thank you. Shout out to Jen the plug, not the therapist.
Jen, what up? Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate
Thank
you.
you.
Peace.
Good night.